guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. So, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but during December and January of 2015 to 2016, my boyfriend Dean and I went to the UK, which we were really excited about because it was going to be our first white Christmas, which really didn't happen. But you know what? Something else amazingly happened when we were there. It was spooky stuff. And I thought I'd give you guys a rundown of some spooky stuff we saw along the way. One of our first stops was York, which is truly a spooky town. We went and discovered the little laneways and humble shops, and I managed to drag Dean into the most haunted pub in York. The Golden Fleece is known as the most haunted pub in York and one of the most haunted places in the UK. It's rumoured that many people have seen Ghost Lady Pickett, whose husband once owned the premises. She wanders up and down the halls and she moves furniture. But the place really becomes Spooksville when you realise that she is only one out of the 5 spirits that are regularly seen there. After that encounter, we went on and joined up with our group again, and we went to something that was sold to us as a ghost tour, but it was so much more. It was called the Ghost Hunt of York, and it was hosted by this crazy kooky character who kind of takes you to different spots throughout the city and then tells you different stories. I'm not sure if they're true or not, but he was amazing.
Don't mess me about.
He was witty, clever, and really great at improvising on the spot. I don't think we laughed as hard as we did there during our whole trip. He was so freaking good. I really recommend it to anyone who's passing through York or who lives there. Our next stop was one of our favorites. It is the beautiful Edinburgh. Dean and I both fell in love with the city, and if we were to live anywhere, I think, in the world other than where we live now, I think it would be Edinburgh. It was amazing. This is Edinburgh Castle. Obviously the UK is a pub mecca, and that suits Dean and I perfectly because we enjoy a pint or two on the regular occasion, to say the least. And pub-wise, Edinburgh obviously had a lot on offer. We stayed in a place called Cowsgate, which was kind of on the outskirts of the city, but what I discovered there was everything was haunted. And obviously that's something I really love, is that you can just walk into a pub and just look at these plaques or pictures on the wall and they'll tell you this crazy spooky history, and that's exactly what I found in Cowsgate. From Maggie Dickinson. It's a whiskey and ale house. Sorry, I said Maggie Dickinson. So this one, I'll read you the tale. It says, in 1723, Margaret Dickinson, a fish hawker in Edinburgh, left town to visit relatives after being deserted by her husband. On the way down, she stopped off in Kelso at an inn to break the journey. She stayed a while and worked in return for her board and lodgings. While she was there, Maggie formed a relationship with the landlady's son and fell pregnant with his child. This was not in her contract of employment, so she concealed the fact that she was expecting, and in time, the child was born prematurely. When the baby died a few days later, she was determined to throw the body into the River Tweed. I hope I'm saying that right. Losing her nerve, she laid the baby down at the water's edge. The body was discovered later that day and traced back to Maggie. She was arrested and tried under the 1690 Concealment of Pregnancy Act. She was then sentenced to be hanged, I always say hung, hanged in the Grassmarket, Edinburgh, which is this area. Maggie was hanged, and after her death was pronounced, the body was then taken to Musselburgh for burial. On the way there, the funeral heard noises from Maggie's coffin. On opening the coffin, they found Maggie to be very much alive. Recovering to full health, she was allowed to live as it was seen to be the God's will. She survived, living the rest of her days in Edinburgh. She was known by all as the celebrated half-hanged Maggie. And this pub, or alehouse, is named after her. I don't know about you guys, but this is way too spooky for me. And to add to that, one night after a pub crawl, we found ourselves in a Frankenstein's monster themed bar. But the most exciting part of our trip was taking the 12-hour round trip to go to Loch Ness and the possibility of catching Nessie. Since there's nothing else to do in Loch Ness, we did what tourists do best. We went on a cruise down the Loch. I have to admit, Dean was probably more stoked that they had their own Nessie brew. But I spent most of my time facing the cold wind and the chance I might get a glimpse of Nessie himself. Our last spooky experience in the UK was a drive that we took just to find the oldest pub in England, and let me tell you, it was definitely worth it. Dean and I were set on finding this pub, and we rented a car to go out of our way to make sure we finally found the ye old trip to Jerusalem.
Do you remember how old this is? Do you remember when it was?
Pretty old?
Yeah, pretty old. Yes?
No.
Roughly?
No.
1100?
It's hard for me to even fathom
Yeah.
how old that is. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is! This pub is in Nottingham, and the pub is built on the side of a castle, which is kind of like a cave system. As we downed our pints and our food, Dean read me this book, which is actually the history of the place. It's like a touristy little pamphlet you can buy when you're there. I totally recommend this. It has really crazy tales in it. But my favorite thing there was this model ship that was all dusty and it was like encased in glass. It's known as the Cursed Galleon, and legend has it that this nameless model of a galleon may have been presented to the inn by a parting sailor, but they don't know why. Whatever the motivation may have been, this model is truly possessed of a hideous curse. Apparently the last 3 people who dared to try and clean it died very mysterious and unexpected deaths. After that, Dean and I went down to the Haunted Snug, which was a little room downstairs, which apparently guests always see something in, which is really creepy. The vibe was definitely a little chilly. I'm currently in the Haunted Snug, and I'm here by myself, and it's really creepy. This is where most of the visitors experience spiritual, paranormal events. So if anything was to happen, it would happen here. Probably right now while I'm by myself waiting for a drink. Cheers to that. And that's it, guys. That's all of the spooky stuff we did. But there's so much spooky stuff in the UK that we didn't get to do. And this is not sponsored at all. These are just some of the really cool experiences we just happened to do when we were there. I really recommend any of this to anyone who lives in the UK or is passing through. There's so much cool stuff there. I still really want to go to the Jack the Ripper Museum, which is in London. There's so many cool things like that. And there's pretty much ghost tours in every single town, which is amazing. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. Also, I really want to know, is there something haunted or spooky in your town that people like to go do? Please let me know down in the comments below, because I'm always up for traveling to new places. I'd love to add yours to my list. I'll talk to you guys soon. Stay spooky. Bye.